Hi, I'm Dave Wilson. I just spent the last few months putting the final touches on my first book. It's in the personal development and self-help market. And I wanted to come on today as my first post to give you an idea about what it is I want to do with my future, online and off, and why I feel compelled to do so, and why I also believe that the power of the message that I'm about to share with you will change the lives of thousands, if not millions, if I have my say, based upon the fact that everything that I'll be talking about with you in the future, if you choose to join me, is based entirely on my own personal experiences and what I've been able to get from personal development that has literally completely transformed my life from what it was, as you're about to see, into the person I have become and continue to become. So why don't we get started? When I was 7 years old, I was in the second grade and did something that I wasn't supposed to do when I got in trouble at school. And because of that, I was diagnosed with ADHD the next day after a long battery of tests and was put on Ritalin 3 times a day for the next 7 years until I was 14. From the second to the fifth grade in that school, everything was fine. I got along great with everybody, but when we moved, I was in the sixth grade. Going sixth grade through high school was a social nightmare for me because for whatever reason, us ADHDers, there's a connection that just isn't made, and we miss whatever it is that makes kids social. And so for whatever reason, I just had a terrible time from the sixth grade forward. And when I was 20, I had not made it in college. I just wasn't prepared emotionally and physically to buckle down and study, because they don't care if you don't make it in college like they send a note home in high school. So I didn't make it in college, and when I was 20, I went into the military. And I stayed in the Air Force for 6 years. Eventually, I was an electrician and brought that trade with me when I left, and had been married twice and went with the second wife to her home in Cleveland, Ohio when we got out. And so I lived there, got divorced from her, and moved back home to Birmingham in 1988. And from there, in May of 1991, I was almost electrocuted by the mistake of one of my coworkers, and obviously that scared me pretty bad. And so I began to think of new things to do and went back to school and was accepted full-time at the University of South Alabama in Mobile, Alabama in the fall of '92. And after 2 years, I had not been disciplined enough to study in statistics, 2 chemistries, biologies, and physics, and was not allowed to even take the interview for the physical therapy professional program. So after another year of going to school, I was accepted in a local community college and got my degree that a year later as a licensed PT assistant, and graduated with honors from there and took a job in New Orleans. So I moved to New Orleans in '96, and I had been studying martial arts at South Alabama and became a nationally ranked champion while in New Orleans, and really was liking the way things were going, still having some social issues. And then I got transferred up into a little small town in central Louisiana and lost my job that year and wasn't able to get another one. And in April of 2000, I decided that it would be okay to steal some money to try and get out of about $60,000 worth of debt. And I got caught and spent the next 4 years and 3 months in the Louisiana prison system. And to say that this was a major drag is the understatement of the millennium, because I was completely surrounded by some of the most ridiculous, outlandish, and idiotic attitudes I had ever experienced in my life. I had never seen anything like this. And it profoundly changed me, because I knew that the day I got busted, I wanted to go home. I had had enough. And by going through that, I used to tell myself, you know, I got a plan. I'm going to do better. I don't have a clue what that plan is, but I'm going to do better. So when I got out on July 19th of '04, I started being an electrician again, like I was at the halfway house, and I had the job I had there. So I went from there and was doing some things online to try and become self-employed, working at home, and came across personal development in about May of 2005. And from there, everything began to change, because nobody had ever told me the kind of things that personal development shares with you, the ways to look at yourself and how you view the world. and this was completely foreign to me. I had spent my entire life being totally miserable, completely expecting to never have the opportunity to be happy, because I had a 47-year history at that time of not being happy and not being able to have a satisfying life because I couldn't find a good woman, because I didn't have the social chops to be able to make it in the social scene. So about 2 years of doing this through 06 and 07, I decided to come home and moved back to Birmingham, Alabama in April of 07. And during that time, up until summer, I began to realize, as I began to evolve, I began to feel that I had a message. And this brought me back to a quote that has really become the central focus of my life. And that quote simply said, "If you have knowledge or information that you know will help someone else, it is your responsibility to share that with them, because if you don't, you are robbing them of the opportunity to learn and grow as you have." And back when I heard it, it was like, well, that's a great quote, but I didn't really have anything in my pocket that I could use to say, hey, I got this. Well, as I began to evolve, I realized that what I had gone through in the past and who I was becoming currently and even through today is a very powerful story of overcoming myself and obstacles and bad choices to become a person that I had never even dreamed capable of becoming. And that August of 07, I joined Toastmasters because I knew that they were the people that could teach you how to speak. And I went there looking to prove to myself that I had the speaking chops to be able to share the message that I knew was life-changing, because it had changed my life. It was all twisted up. So I began to hone those chops. I joined on August 13th. On the 20th, I gave my first speech, what they call the icebreaker. And I didn't stop giving speeches till 68 straight Mondays later. And I made it to the highest level of their speaking track of Toastmasters because I wanted so badly to be a great speaker, a presenter, because I knew I had passion, I knew I had emotion. But I wanted to make sure that I was able to communicate what it was I wanted to say. Well, here we are in 2010, and I had an opportunity to give a presentation at a college event coordinators conference in February. And so I worked, as it turned out, I found out late that I was going to get that opportunity to present a breakout session. So as it turned out, in 21 days, working 20 hours a day because I wasn't working at the time, I was able to gather up all of my files and pieces of paper from everywhere and create my book. And that book was a college market book that I left that conference and changed into a general population book that is now 204 pages that is based upon all of my past and my new experiences based upon what I've learned through personal development. And that is what I have been sharing with people in Toastmasters. And from the guy who used to be the one that was, oh God, there's that guy again, to a guy people look to as an inspiration because of what I have gone through and what I have been able to create for myself and to share with others has changed the reputation I now have to one that people can look to be inspired. And for that personality, to hear that is just life-changing. So here I am, an author of a book that is so foreign for that guy to think about. I just wanted to kind of sort of be happy. Well, now I find myself able to change the lives of millions. And that's what we're going to do in the future. So I hope that you stay with me. I hope that you are looking to change your life. And if you are, I will walk with you every step of the way down the path of our self-discovery together. You know, having said that, I look forward to speaking with you more in the future. All of my blogs will be video and audio and text for all of the different type of learners out there. So I want to make a connection with you so that you can see from my own experience and example that there is nothing you cannot overcome in your life. So having said that, I want to say thanks for hanging out with me. I hope to see you in the future. Have a good day.